Hi, Rob.
Morning.
Everything's working.
It is. We were concerned that it might not with the worldwide IT outage.
It may stop working halfway through, who knows, because everything's broken, isn't it? Potentially thanks to Microsoft. Has it been confirmed as being a Microsoft thing?
It's a cybersecurity thing. CrowdStrike appears to be the source of the outage.
I only know about CrowdStrike through F1.
All right.
They're one of the sponsors, but yeah, not good. A lot of people stranded at airports, aren't there? I think, and all sorts.
Well, luckily not you.
No, that is good. It happened at the right time, selfishly.
So yeah, well, you just got back from Milan.
I have, yeah, which was absolutely boiling hot. Definitely not complaining because it's been horrendous in the UK, as you know. But yeah, it was so warm there, like 32, 33 degrees, really humid, no cloud, nothing, no wind, and I'll be honest, it was lovely. I sweated my backside off for 3 days, but it was very much welcomed. I also witnessed England lose the final in Milan in a very kind of bougie bar, as they say these days, full of Spanish fans who didn't seem that interested in the match. So that was probably the worst possible way to watch England lose a final. But apart from that, it was a great trip. Went to a winery, got to play with some new tech, spent some time with some very cool and fun people, and then came home.
It wasn't Ben, lover of tech, on the same flight?
He was. We flew out together. We flew out on the Sunday, and it wasn't touch and go, but it was quite close with the kickoff. So we landed in Milan at I think 7 p.m. Milan time, and had 2 hours to get from the airport to somewhere to watch the game, and it worked out fine in the end, apart from the venue, obviously, but and the result, as always. No, it was great. Yeah, nice to spend some time with him. Techspert was there, Chris Barraclough, Pete Matheson. Who else? One or two others.
Well, I know Pete was there because he posted a photo where he papped you. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, is this the capturing me doing a story on Instagram on a balcony in a vineyard? The most unflattering behind the scenes thing ever. Cheers, Pete.
Speaking on the subject of Pete Matheson, when are we going to see that Vision Pro content you filmed like months ago? Now that it's actually out. Here.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah, because obviously Vision Pro launched, didn't it, on the 12th? Was it the 12th of this month?
Yeah.
I've even forgotten when it was. We had a video planned for the 12th, and then this is what's happening with Vision Pro at the minute. I looked at it, and we had so much of the stuff to fit in. The only video that we could move, really, realistically, was the Vision Pro one, and I didn't really think twice about moving it. we just shelved it. Because I don't feel like it's going to get the views, and we had other videos that were going to make us money and all sorts, so it was that they kind of take precedence. That said, I know we're going off topic now. I did try it last night because I suddenly thought I've not tried it since it went live in the UK, and I can confirm if you did what I did and imported Vision Pro from the US into another country, it does just start working with your ID, providing it's being sold in your native country now. Your native Apple ID will work, and you can get into the App Store. It basically unlocks it completely. There was a bit of me that was slightly worried that it might be region locked in the hardware somewhere, but it's not. It just started working. Didn't have to do anything at all. So that's good. That does kind of get me a little bit more excited about it again, especially with Vision OS 2 coming in a couple of months. I will do something with it, and I will do something with that content that I filmed, but I'm just not sure what. And I just don't. Have you seen anything about it since it had the global launch? Has it come on your radar at all?
No.
No. I don't think it has. It's been crickets, hasn't it? I've seen a few like little reels and things of people going to Apple stores and trying it and reacting to it and stuff. But we've had all that stuff ages ago, back in February, from the US, and that's the biggest audience. Is the most number of people who could access it immediately. So I feel like it's been done really. I think Vision OS 2. I think I'll revisit it then. I think perhaps get you to the studio again so you can have a play and gauge your reaction.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Let's do that. So, yeah. So why were you in Milan?
So I was there for this partly. This is the for people who aren't watching on. We keep forgetting to do this, but if this podcast is now on YouTube. If you're not watching it, you should be, because it's incredibly visual, Rob, isn't it? With most of it. But yeah, I'm basically showing the Nord 4, this new Nord 4 phone. But not just that. It was this. It was the OnePlus Buds 3 Pro, I think they're called. And I can't say much about this because there's actually an embargo on the review. The Pad 2, which is their
first ever tablet, if I recall correctly.
It's the Pad 2 officially, isn't it? So it is actually
Is it?
It's the second one basically, with some very interesting upgrades. Which again, I can talk about what's on it, but I can't give you my opinion on it until later this month. But and a watch,
it's not an iPad, so it doesn't matter.
And a watch 2R, which I don't have yet, but it's on the way. And got hands on with all of them, and I've had the phone for a little while now, but the reviews on YouTube, obviously. But got hands on with all of them, and saw Super Saf as well. And I was about to get a selfie with him, and then I saw him being diverted elsewhere. So I did that thing where I kind of like turned around and thought, okay then.
You posted a photo from another event where I thought that Superb Safwan was in the background.
Superb Safwan, yeah, that was Samsung KX. That was the hands-on. I think that was last year for the Fold stuff, the Fold 4 and 5, from memory, a little while ago. But yeah, no, he was there as well.
No, that was this year.
Was it this year?
Yeah, you posted it on the Discord like in the last week.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, but it wasn't him. Anyway, it just looked like him.
Fair enough. But yeah, so it was for OnePlus. OnePlus shipped everyone out there.
So you met him though, and this was in Milan.
No, didn't meet him. No, he was wandering around, looking a little bit lost. Actually, I thought, oh, poor guy, better go and see if he's all right. And
so you didn't ask him if he was Mr. Who is the Boss, because he loves that.
Should have done that, shouldn't I? Oh, Mr. Who the Boss, can I have a selfie, please, Mr. Who is the Boss? Yeah, I did do that. It was a great event. It was really good, and what can more? I've never. Have you been to Milan? Have you done the Milan thing?
I haven't. I've been to various places in Italy. I've been to Rome, Florence, Pisa, all the usual places, but no, I've never been to Milan.
Lovely city. It's very, very nice. I had a bit of free time on one of the days and took a walk into the city and just took it all in. I love Italy. I think it's just ridiculously beautiful place, and the weather. I mean, okay, we won't moan about the weather in the UK, and actually today it's all right. It's very nice, but we've had it rough.
Yeah, I was just checking. It's going to hit 29 here today.
Yeah, so it should. It's about time.
So they shipped you out there to show you a bunch of new stuff. The most exciting thing potentially is what the Nord 4. Are you allowed to say what you think about the Nord 4?
Yeah, the review is live now. All embargoes have gone. So yeah.
So I mean, it's what, £429.
Yep, starts at that.
And it's got a Snapdragon 7 Gen 3 LPDDR5X. It's got 5,500 milliamp hour battery with 100-watt charging, so that 5 minutes of charging gives you 5 hours of Netflix. That was one of their big exciting claims, which is quite cool. So metal unibody chassis, which is also quite cool. Well, I don't know, why are they trying to make metal cool again? Because we did metal, didn't we? You had the iPhone 5 and then the iPhone 6 through 11, that was all metal. And then we moved back to glass, and now we're going back to metal now, are we? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, they've got to try and do something interesting, haven't they? I don't envy any of these manufacturers. They've got to, I think what's happening is a lot of jumping on the AI bandwagon. And what was nice about this one is that this does have some AI stuff built into it, because of course it does, but it was more of a footnote, really. The big thing about this is the design, and that's far more interesting for me than AI. I'm a bit bored of AI stuff where you can have your notes summarized and remove things from photos. That's just standard stuff now. So I think they've kind of fairly smartly focused on this unibody design, which is very nice. I mean, for 429 quid, this is the 512 gig version, which is 500 and something. But yeah, the 429 one, the 256, it feels very flagship compared to a lot of the phones in that bracket.
Yeah, well, the coloured ones are anodized as well, aren't they? Which is very nice.
They are, although they don't have that. So on this silver one, there's like a ridge, this kind of which you can just about
etched,
feel.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's like etched,
nice.
etched type thing. You don't get that on the green or the black one, which is a bit of an odd decision, I think. Which is why I do like this one a bit more, the silver one. But it's a lovely phone. It's got comical battery life, particularly if you don't have and comical in a good way, if you don't have a SIM card in there. I think I had it just running on Wi-Fi, and I was doing quite a bit of stuff with it, taking some photos and video and stuff. It lasted for I think for 3 days in Milan. By the third day, it had 70% remaining, and it hadn't been turned off, hadn't been near a charger. And Ben, lover of tech Ben, who does his epic, kind of sports commentary style battery tests, which I don't know how this guy does this. We'll get him on again, actually, just to talk about these, because if you've never watched it before, go to Lover of Tech and just watch one of his battery tests. Some of them are about an hour long, but Ben being Ben, he makes them incredibly engaging and fun and exciting, and he does them throughout the night. So he stays up all night and does these incredibly crazy battery tests, but he's done that with the Nord 4, and he said it was close to the phone. The CMF Phone 1 is the phone that's beaten everything so far recently. He said it came very close to that, to basically ending him, because it just would not die, basically. So battery life's fantastic. Performance is great. I mean, that the 7 Gen Plus 3, whatever it is, 7 Plus Gen 3 rather, is I think it's the first to launch globally with that chip. The chip was launched back in March or something. I mean, for my use case, which as we know is fairly straightforward, absolutely great, and no problems there whatsoever. Fairly decent updates, like you said. 6 years of software, 4 years of battery, guaranteed battery. Display is lovely, really nice display.
So, I mean, is it all in all, it's a solid device. Is it now the new king of budget smartphones? Do you think?
It's a bit early to say that.
It's got the chip. It's got the software support. They've caught up on all the AI stuff, like you say, because they do the like the googly pixel, the best face thing, where if someone's gurning, you're taking a group shot and someone is blinking or is pulling a derpy face, you can swap in the face from another photo, and you can remove stuff from the background, all of that stuff that we've seen before. And then, like you say, it's also got you could record a meeting or a lecture or whatever, and then it'll give you some summarized notes.
Yep.
What else does it do? Yeah, so it's got all of the you're not missing out by getting a OnePlus Nord for the compared to a Pixel or a Galaxy. With all of the AI stuff that they've been pushing, which is nice. It's got proper Sony sensors in the camera. I don't know which ones, but I would suspect that it takes better photos than the equivalent Galaxy for less money. It just seems like a solid device.
No brainer. If you don't want to spend that much more, then just get one of these mid-range phones, particularly this Nord 4. It's a bit early in the year to say it's the one to beat all others, but I think the only thing that you do miss, that I miss, it's not really a fair comparison because of the price difference, but it's that 5x zoom, the optical. You get 1 and 2 on this, and then obviously the wide, but it's digital beyond 1, and I just miss having that 5x, the optical. But that's what you get if you go flagship. You get a better camera system. But like you say, it does take very good photos out of the box with the standard, the kind of built-in zoom ranges, and. Yeah, it's great. It's also got AquaTouch, which I haven't tested yet, actually. But are you aware of this?
I missed that.
It's basically anyone who's tried to use their phone either in a downpour or after getting very sweaty in the gym knows that it just doesn't work. You press things on the screen. It does it on watches as well, doesn't it? Your Apple Watch goes mental if you take it into the shower. The AquaTouch is supposed to aid that problem and ensure that you can actually do it. And they did a demo on stage, actually, where they had one of the OnePlus guys backstage being pelted with fake rain while trying to send a message to the guy on stage, and it did work. So again, I haven't tested it, but that's nice to know it's there. And just very quickly, that display as well. Again, if you look at the iPhone, the kind of the base iPhone 15, presumably the iPhone 16 as well. 120 hertz refresh rate on this one, OLED, 2,150 nits. It's a flagship display. Apple has to start doing this with the base iPhone, surely.
I think they will. I think this year we'll finally see 120 hertz, possibly not, the 1 hertz up to 120 that you get with the Pros. But I think, maybe it'll be a lower range, but they've got to bump it up from 60 this year, I think. And, maybe we'll see some sort of wacky new dual layer OLED in the Pros. Who knows?
Yeah.
We haven't got long to wait. Anyway, I think the most interesting thing from that Nord release was the notion of fluency. They guarantee that it will still work as fluidly as it does today in 6 years, which is a pretty bold and interesting claim, I thought.
Yeah.
So that's quite cool. I enjoyed
that.
that.
I don't know if I'll be testing that in 6 years' time, but who knows?
Yeah, but you mentioned the CMF phone. So the last time we spoke, we knew that this stuff was coming out. It has now come out. It's 180 quid, or it was if you pre-ordered it.
Have you seen one in the flesh?
I haven't, no.
I did, because Ben had one of those as well. That's the one that he did the epic battery test on, and it smashed every other phone. Incidentally, the iPhone 15 for him has been consistently the worst performing phone on his battery tests. This guy knows what he's talking about. So again, Apple have got to sort that out. But no, going back to CMF, I don't know how they're doing that phone at 180 quid. It's unbelievably good value. I only had a very quick time with it, obviously, but I trust Ben's opinion, and he's absolutely bowled over by it. He can't believe they're making any kind of profit on this phone. But yeah,
I guess they want you to buy into the whole CMF ecosystem, because they've also got the Buds Pro, which also seem to be pretty good from what I've seen. Again, I haven't tried them personally, but you got the Buds Pro, which I think they're about 60 quid or something, and they've got all your ANC, and they come in Larry Orange. I think it's, and the watch. They've released a CMF watch.
They have, which I've not seen that.
Which is all aluminium and has swappable bezels, which all looks really nice. Yep. So I was very tempted. So you could buy, if you pre-ordered, because I'm on their mailing lists and everything, so I generally kind of quite into anything nothing does. You could get the phone, the buds, the watch, and a 65-watt GAN charger if you pre-ordered it for about 300 quid.
Nice.
So for less money than a Nord 4, you could get a really nice setup. The reason I didn't do it was because the Larry Orange one wasn't available. I don't know whether I was too slow and it sold out, or whether they're deliberately holding that back in the hope that you'll buy one of the more drab colours and then buy a new fascia. Because that's the thing about this Phone 1, is it's customizable. The whole their unique selling point for the whole CMF thing is it's all, you can swap the backs out, you can bolt cool new stuff onto it, and with the watch you can swap out the straps as you can with most smartwatches, but you can also swap out the bezels, which is not something I've seen before. So whatever color you buy today, or if you drop it or scratch it or whatever, you can just buy a whole new back and bolt it on using what is now the new coolest SIM eject tool available. Have you seen it?
I have, yeah. It's brilliant.
I was very tempted to get a Phone 1 just to get that SIM tool, because as you know, my favourite SIM eject tool is the one that comes with the Nothing phone,
which is great. Yep.
Which is cool. But it's just the thing that ruined it for me is there's no NFC.
No.
And I can't remember the last time I paid for anything with cash, and I can't remember the last time I took a plastic card out with me, because I just pay for everything, using a smartwatch, whatever it is that I'm playing with at the time. So I've got all of my cards in my Google Wallet and my Apple Wallet.
Same here.
So I couldn't use it. I'd have to, alter the way I run my life in order to use it. So I had to give that one a miss, sadly.
I guess something has to go, doesn't it? But it's a weird thing to get rid of, isn't it? It's a bit debilitating.
Yeah. But I mean, so customization seems to be in, right? Because have you seen the Dyson headphones?
Yes, and I will be reviewing them as well.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realise you were friends with Dyson.
Well, not only recently, but so basically, Niall went there. Niall, my right hand man here, he went while I was in Mallorca on holiday because I couldn't make it. So he went to a hands-on, and he was very impressed. And yeah, we will be getting a pair to to review, and like you say, there's no no Bane mask this time, and like their weird. What was it? What was that thing called? They made that kind of.
I can't remember. It was very silly,
product.
wasn't it?
Yeah. I'm looking forward to them. But they look really interesting. Like I say, 2,000 combinations. You can basically customize them to pretty much whatever you want.
Yeah, so you can swap out the external part of the headphone to one of several colours. You can swap out the ear pads, and I think you can swap out the headbands as well. So you loads of different options, different finishes, different colours to make them look exactly as you want. I like that. I think that's good. We'll have to see how they sound, obviously. And the case looks quite good as well because it's collapsible.
Yeah.
You seen that?
I have, yeah. There's lots about these that's interesting, but I think, like you say, it all comes down to two things, sound and noise cancellation. Those two things have got to be seriously good, I think.
And price. Do we know the
and
price on those?
I don't know if we do. If we do, there is an embargo on the review, so I better not say anything, but they look really interesting. There's a lot of information out there about them, because there was a press release yesterday, I think, wasn't there?
Yeah. We'll stick a link in the show notes. So I'll be interested to see how it's stacked up against the Cambridge Audio P100s, which is another interesting set of headphones that's come out since we last spoke. Have you seen this?
No, these passed me by, these ones.
So Cambridge Audio, I forget exactly where they I'm pretty sure that they're like the in-house audio brand of Richer Sounds. The largest
I think they are
hi-fi retailer in the UK, and they were at one time, and maybe still are, in the Guinness Book of World Records for the highest turnover retail shop based on square footage, because they always buy these really bonky, like ramshackle properties and then just ram them full from floor to ceiling with speakers and amps and whatnot. But in any case, so we've got this Cambridge Audio brand. They've been around for a while. They do some vaguely interesting stuff. But what caught my eye about these is that they've got a user-replaceable battery.
Right up your street.
Exactly. They've got a 100-hour battery life, which is completely insane. They can do lossless CD quality, so it's 16-bit, 44 kilohertz over Bluetooth 5.3 LE, assuming you've got a device that can support that. But the most interesting thing is the built-in voice that sort of tells you when it's connected to stuff is Matt Berry.
Oh. Of all the people, I would not expect him to be commissioned for that. Matt Berry.
Yeah. Matt Berry. So if you're not familiar with Matt Berry, you must have heard he does voiceovers for adverts and stuff, but he's also been in like the IT Crowd and
very
a number
funny
of
guy.
other very, very funny guy. And what was he most famous for? The Garth Marenghi.
Yeah, he's done lots of stuff, hasn't he?
He's been loads.
I just can't take him seriously, though. He's one of those guys who's just always funny. The thought of him telling me how much battery life's left in my headphones is brilliant, actually. He should be on every pair of headphones.
And they're very competitively priced. So they're £229. So
nice.
So those weren't on your radar at all.
I completely miss. There's so much stuff at the minute, Rob.
Yeah.
There's so many new products. It's ridiculous. This is why this podcast is. I do this podcast just to find out what's been released. To be honest, I miss it all, and you don't. A Snapdragon sound as well. Nice. So it's all new stuff, isn't it? Interesting.
I am tempted to get some just for the fact that it's got Matt Berry as the voiceover. I think that would amuse me every time I put them on. So we'll see.
Brilliant. While we're talking of headphones, before I forget, the Samsung Buds 3 Pro.
Yeah.
So I got these when I went to Samsung KX for the hands-on the other day, a couple of weeks ago, and
and Alex.
Me and Alex, yeah. That's another. Have we even spoken about that? I can't remember if we have.
No. So there are two things. We haven't spoken about your Samsung experience. We haven't talked about Goodwood either. So we must get onto those at some point. But yes.
Let's do Samsung quickly now then. Very quickly. So I went to Samsung KX for twice, but the second time was for the live stream of the Unpacked event, and it was great. It was nice, and some nice food and stuff, nice food and drink. Who else was there? Some other people. Fern Cotton was doing the whole hosting thing, which was great. And on the way out, we were given a pair of these, which I'll come on to in a second. But the more interesting thing, the better thing that day, is that I actually met Alex from Alex Gear and Tech fame in person at that event, which I've been speaking to him for the last 3 years on texts and stuff. And he's been on. Has he been on here?
He's been on here. Yeah.
He's been on here, and I've done live streams with him. See him as a mate within the industry, but I had never met him in person. So that was brilliant. We finally got to shake hands. But not only did we do that, we went out for dinner afterwards, which was very nice. And then somehow I dragged him to I didn't drag him at all. He wanted to come. If you don't know, Alex is Brazilian, but he's lived here for many years. But obviously his first country, his first team is in football terms is Brazil. That said, because that evening it was the semi-final. It was England versus the Netherlands. I said to him, "Do you fancy coming to watch it in London? Because I'm hanging around. I'm staying not far from here later on." He was like, "Yeah, why not?" And he had to get a train back later on. And bearing in mind these games can go on forever because you can get extra time and penalties and stuff, he committed to it and he really supported us and nearly missed his train, nearly missed the last train getting home. So thanks, Alex, if you listen to this. But it was great. Yeah, spent some really quality time with him. And like I say, got a pair of these on the way out, which is the new Samsung earbuds. I won't review them now, but they are absolutely brilliant. Like surprisingly amazing. I've to be totally honest, I thought this another kind of throwaway type thing where it's like, okay, Samsung have made another pair of buds. They have to do that each year, a bit like the phone thing. Whatever. Tried them and they sound incredible. Brilliant, sound great, and the noise cancelling is very good as well. They do have some gimmicky stuff. They've got these lights on them, which I don't quite understand what they're for. They say it's for personalisation and locating them if you lose them. I don't know how that works.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you've dropped them down the back of the sofa, if they light up, make them easy to find. I can see that.
Makes sense, I suppose. But I don't care about that. It's just the sound and the noise cancelling is amazing. So I just wanted to mention them because I probably won't do a full review of them, but I will do some short form content just on my opinion because I was very surprised by how good they are.
Do you think they might become your new travel headphones of choice? Because I noticed that in your channel formerly known as Solo Club, what's it now?
Yep.
The Mark Ellis Creator Diary,
something like that. Yeah.
Which I don't know whether people may or may not be aware of this. I don't know that we've spoken about it, but you've got a very interesting blog channel where you
jump on hotel beds and moan about the weather.
But in almost every single one of those, when you're out and about, the headphones that you seem to take with you are the Beats Studio Pro, which is a curious choice given all of the headphones you have at your disposal. Why is it just that they're the ones that are in your travel bag and that?
It's partly that. It's also because the size, they're just ridiculously, in terms of the packed down size into that little case. They've got the best case in the market, basically, which means they're very easy to put into the bag. That's the main reason. It's not to do with sound quality, although I still think they sound pretty good. I only really use them these days for editing. That's it. I don't, and because the audio that we use here is just the same all the time. There's no worries about using a proper reference pair of headphones. I just need something to get the job done, and because they're so travelable, so portable, they win the spot in the case. Feel lost without them, actually, to be honest.
Interesting. So so going back to the Galaxy Buds, you think you need the over ears for your editing rather than they're not the in ears.
It's just the lag. It's the Bluetooth lag. It doesn't help.
So so where else have you been? So Goodwood, what happened there?
Goodwood. I think I asked you this last time. You've not been, have you, to Goodwood? Have you been, or have you been a long time ago? Or?
No, I've got no excuse because I'm from down that way. So I used to live in Worthing on the south coast, which is just up the road from Chichester.
Next year, perhaps you should come along. Perhaps meet.
I've been to lots of car shows, but not Goodwood.
Go! It's brilliant. It's ridiculous. So for people who don't know, it's the Festival of Speed, which has been going since about 1993 or 4 or something. It's been long time. It's been going each year, and it's set in a beautiful place down in Chichester. Really scenic, kind of like an old manor house that kind of oversees the whole estate. And they've got this hill, like a hill climb, which is where basically for 4 days, all sorts of cars, everything from the obvious, kind of rally cars and F1 cars and all that sort of stuff, to these days utterly bonkers, like Ford Transits, EVs that have got like 1,400 horsepower, being driven by Sergio Perez from F1 fame, going up there, and the what's it called, the Cybertruck, that went up as well. Saw that a couple of times. But it's not just about the hill. It's obviously, there's loads of stands. All the brands come and have great big presences there, showing off their new cars and old cars. And I went there obviously because of the whole Markerless Motors thing that I'm starting up on Instagram and Instagram and TikTok.
Oh yeah,
just to get some content.
Chris Harris now.
I'm basically Jeremy Clarkson. And
I was on the Top Gear references at Goodwood. Did you see Tiffany Dell? He's almost always wandering around at because he lives in Sussex. Tiffany Dell.
He is down there, isn't he? I saw him in a pub years ago. That's my only connection with him. But no, I didn't see him. I did see Tarun. I can never remember what his surname is. The guy that one of the Sky Sports F1 presenters. I got a selfie with him because he was just wandering around in his race suit. But no, it was brilliant, and I got to go up the hill as well. I actually got a ride in a Yangwang U9, which I don't know if we spoke about this last time. We possibly did. This is the BYD luxury brand. You can't buy this car in the UK at the moment. It's only in China, but it's their supercar, their EV supercar or hypercar, really.
Why are they so bad at names?
Yangwang.
Because BYD themselves used to be like, what was it? Bring your dreams or something.
Build your dreams.
Build your dreams.
Get it right, crikey.
And then they truncated it to BYD because Build Your Dreams is naff. And now Yangwang. Are they going to reduce that to YW to be to one up Volkswagen?
They probably will. If it comes over here, they're going to have to. There's no way people are going to buy a Yangwang in this country with a straight face, which is a shame because it's an amazing car. It's an incredible thing. But yeah, I got to go up it. But that wasn't the most amazing thing. I mean, that was amazing, but it wasn't the most amazing thing. The most amazing thing was the coincidence that happened during that, which I don't think I've mentioned on Discord. I have talked about it elsewhere. So basically, you it's quite rare to get this opportunity. You have to. I mean, the reason I managed to get it was through BYD. So they invited me to Goodwood. They got me under press. And just happened to say, look, we've got a spare slot for the U9. Do you want to go up the hill in it? To which I just immediately said, yeah. Why would you not want to do that? But it's quite you can't buy a ticket to do it. You have to kind of be invited. So basically the chances of me...
Then you nearly bollocksed it up by being inappropriately attired.
I was inappropriate. I was showing my legs, which apparently not allowed to do. So I got into the car and one of the stewards was like, oh no, sorry, you need trousers on. And thankfully the driver, who I'll come on to in a moment, managed to sort it out for me. But yeah, I think it was due to an accident last year where one of the windscreens shattered or something and damaged someone's legs because he was wearing shorts, which meant they have to put a rule in place now that you have to wear trousers. Apparently that happens all the time at Goodwood. Something goes wrong, something sets fire to itself or smashes up, and then a new rule comes in to make things harder later. Anyway. What happened? So I got guided to the start line where all these amazing cars are being lined up, and we found the U9. And obviously, you're being driven. You don't get to drive up yourself because that would be catastrophic. All the cars are driven by proper race drivers, pro race drivers. So this guy was sat in the U9. Shook my hand and he said, "So where are you from?" I said, "I'm from Northampton." He said, "No, really?" He said, "Whereabouts in Northampton?" I said, "I'm from Duston." And no one's going to know what Duston... But Duston is a little district in Northampton, basically. And as soon as I said that, he said, "You are joking." And to get a long story short, we were from the exact same place in Northampton. He's 4 years younger than me, but he was in the same school class as my sister, and my mum taught him English at that school.
That's bonkers, isn't it?
Utterly bonkers. I should have bought a lottery ticket because the odds of all those things coming together, just me being there was weird. But the fact that I met this guy, this lovely bloke, a guy called Luke, I've forgotten his second name, but Luke someone, that's terrible. We'll put his name in the show notes. But he's, lovely guy, but just such a weird coincidence. We were just sort of like, really? How has this happened?
But how was the hill climb itself?
Amazing. You realise how... I mean, when you see it, I'm sure you've watched it. It's it looks a lot easier than it is. And he was telling me it's a very technical course. There's 2 or 3 corners that catch a lot of people out. And when you're in the car, you spot them. There's one where there's a building jutting out on the left-hand corner. So it's like quite a sharp left-hand turn. there's this very sharp building sticking out, and it's stuff like that. He said, well, you've really got to know what you're doing, which is why only pro drivers go up there. And he got me up there, and at the end of it, I said, crikey, what were you really pushing it then? And he said he wasn't kind of showing off. He just said, no, that was about 50% I was putting in there. I couldn't put any more in, because the U9 that we were in had done 6 miles when he got into it.
Right.
So it's running now, at least. No, it was great. I mean, I don't want everyone to turn off, because I know we don't have just petrol heads on this, watching and listening to this. But it was for someone like me, and I think for someone like yourself as well. It was a hell of an experience. Nice.
So, wow. So, on the subject of your diversification, as well as being Chris Harris, you think you're Moby now as well?
I've thought I was Moby for years. Hence the haircut. Yeah, there's some music stuff we're working on. We haven't fleshed it all out yet, so I won't go into any detail today. But we are. I've talked about this for a while now. We have tested things, obviously, in the past with some Final Cut Pro, Logic Pro content, and various music bits that I've shoehorned into the channel, and have done quite well. So that was all a test for a slightly bigger idea, which we're starting to work on. Now I've got people who are better than me at doing certain things within the business. I can lean on their expertise to help with this. So that tech and automotive aren't the only two things that we're going to be working on going forward.
Interesting. Have you had a chance to play on your drums? You bought that drum kit ages ago.
No, Niall's moved it out the way as well, because he's I've asked him to help with rearranging the studio, and came in the other day and they're just kind of shoved up against the wall. So I can't blame him for that.
Subject to the studio, are you staying there indefinitely now? Because there was that, you saw that nice place with I can't remember what it was. So you saw a place, and then they came back. They tried to charge you more, and then it was on, and then it was off, and then it was maybe on again. But that's definitely dead now.
Completely dead. Yeah. We walked away from that because they didn't know what they were doing. I say they I won't go into the details, but two of the parties involved didn't know their arse from their elbow, basically, and we had to pull out because it just didn't feel right, which is a shame, because it was a nice location, but everything happens for a reason, doesn't it? It would have been more expensive, and I'd rather spend the money on something else. So we are, for the time being, we're staying here.
All right. I'm trying to think if there's any other updates. Oh, did you? Have you had time to watch the Bobby Fingers?
No, I haven't. I suddenly thought that earlier when I will. I promise.
Oh, no, I'm assuming you probably didn't watch the behind the scenes on that Abigail Osborne song that I found.
I've not heard her. I've not heard the song yet either, but it's every time I start doing something, I think I need to listen to it. So what I might do is when I go to the gym later, I might listen to it then. Promise.
Alrighty. I'm trying to think what else I need to ask you about. Oh, have you got any Snapdragon X Elite machines on the way?
No, not yet. We're hoping to get something soon. They haven't
really
gone down very well, have they?
Well, no. So in the various things that I've seen about it, and also in conversation with Pete Matheson, he says that the battery life is nowhere near what they claim it is, and he's just doing normal. I mean, admittedly, his workflow is he's using a lot of Electron stuff, and that clearly won't have been updated to be ARM native yet. So you've got x86 Electron being emulated in. It's just a recipe for disaster. But so he's got I think he uses Monday and Slack and all the usual suspects that you would have for running a business. And so he's got running 5 or 6 Electron based web applications posing as desktop applications, and he's saying he's getting 3 or 4 hours out of it. So what I want to see, what was that?
That was me, sorry.
But that was a Windows noise.
Yeah, I don't know why that happened. That was very weird. So I've got 2 Windows machines on here. There's so the first one is the Huawei MatePad 14 or whatever it's called. That can't be on, surely, because it's been on this desk for ages. Has it got? No, that's definitely dead. The only other Windows machine on this desk is this.
And that's not plugged in?
And that's not plugged in. But what I did do, I took out the SD card out of it, because I just spotted that it was still in there. It was annoying me, so I took it out, and then it made that noise.
Huh.
That was weird. Will it do it again? It can't be. It hasn't got a battery in it. And why would it do...
Very strange. Okay, what was I saying? Oh yeah,
Anyone
the
can
battery
explain
life.
that.
The battery life on these Snapdragon X Elite machines. So what I would like to see, if you get your hands on one, is whether or not a MacBook running Windows 11 ARM on Parallels lasts longer on battery than an actual Snapdragon X Elite.
This feels like a Ben Lover of Tech video. I'd need his stamina to do that, and I definitely do not have his stamina. But it would be a good test, I agree.
Yes, to stick that in your group chat. I want to see that.
Okay, well,
someone will do
it.
That'd be a really fun test. So I don't know if what have you heard about the Snapdragon X Elite?
Same as you. So yeah, like Pete hasn't been very impressed at all, has he? I haven't seen a huge amount about it, to be honest, because I've been so busy. I've not really watched any videos on it. But I just get the impression that the battery is the issue. I don't think it's the performance, from what I understand. I think it's that the battery, based on certain tests, like you say, Pete's in particular, hasn't performed brilliantly. But I don't know because I haven't tried it, so I reserve judgment, obviously.
It's very impressive. It's definitely caught up, and I'm excited for the Windows on ARM future. But depending on what you're doing, it can either be sort of M1 level or it can be better than M3 level. But it's a mixed bag. So I still think Apple Silicon is king for the time being, in terms of a just good or excellent all round. As an overall experience, I think Apple Silicon is still just ahead.
Yep.
But there are some interesting things coming out. So did you see all the new Microsofty stuff?
No, I haven't. Again, this is why I'm speaking to you now, to find out.
Okay, so if I had to pick one cool thing about the new Microsoft Surface, because there was concern about what was going to happen with the Surface line once Panos left. Because he was Mr. Surface, wasn't he? And he was always super pumped and made very boring things seem quite exciting and magical. I think the most interesting thing about the new Surfaces is that the keyboard attachments are both forwards and backwards compatible. So if you've got an old Surface, you can buy a new Surface keyboard and it'll work, or you can use your existing one, which is rare these days. That's unlike Apple's, where everything seems to work for a generation and then you've got to buy a new one, looking at the pencil and the keyboard case and so forth. So that was quite nice. But I still don't think it's enough to tempt me over to try Windows again.
No, they've got to do a lot more than that, haven't they? Let's be honest. But that's nice though. Backwards compatibility and forwards compatibility is I wish Apple did more of that.
So in other tech news, so we talked about, what did we talk about? We talked about the Galaxy Buds 3. That's not the most interesting thing they showed, is it? The most interesting thing they showed, well, obviously you got the Fold6, which is not thinner than a Magic V2, so it's a waste of time. And it's going to get worse because the Magic V3 is out soon.
Yeah, they kept that quiet, didn't they? It's come out of nowhere, the V3. But yeah, that's even thinner.
It's even thinner, and it's got wireless charging now, so I'm very interested. I'll put a link in the show notes to a promotion that they're running at the moment, where if you give them your details, you just tell them what phone you're using, why you would like to try one, you might get to try a Magic V3 out for a month free of charge. They'll just send you one and play with it.
Nice.
Send it back. I mean, you will be required to, give some feedback, which they can use in their marketing. But you essentially try a bendy phone for free. So the Fold6 is a waste of time as far as I can see. I mean, it's a bit bigger. It's got a slightly more symmetrical display. The crease is slightly less visible. It's got the what seems to be standard across the Galaxy line now, your 7 years of updates, yada, yada, yada. The Flip 6 is also a waste of time as far as I'm concerned. The Watch 7, again, I mean, when we talked about this before, I said, well, I quite liked the Watch 6, but it just annoyed me in a number of ways. I'll give them one more go. I'm not even going to give them that because I don't think it's different at all. The Watch 7, I couldn't see any compelling reason that would solve any of my issues with the Watch 6. And then there's the Watch Ultra, which just seems to be like the Galaxy Watch Classic, but with a squircle kind of border around it. It's not. Do you know what I mean? It's still a circular display, but they've made it squarey.
It's huge as well. It's massive. Just quickly on all of that stuff. So the Fold 6, I am going to be switching to. So I think that's coming today. Until the iPhone arrives, I will be switching from the S24 Ultra to the Fold, because I suddenly thought I've not really done that. I've obviously tested these Folds, but it's always been a second device. I'm going to go for it and actually use it as my main device until September, October. So that's the plan with that.
Are you going to set it up as a fresh device, or are you going to try and migrate?
No, I don't fancy migrating. I'd rather not. I'm a bit old-fashioned with that. I'd rather start from scratch. But the same thing with the Watch Ultra. That's going to be my main watch now from the point it arrives to whatever happens with the Apple Watch later this year.
I mean, it's going to feel like a toy compared to that Garmin, isn't it?
Possibly, although this Garmin isn't perfect. It's been problematic over the last few weeks. It keeps crashing. It keeps freezing, which isn't ideal for a watch that is supposed to be military tested or ready for military personnel.
£2,000
and cost $2,500. When you look at it and think, oh, is it still 8:30? And then about 3 hours later, you realise it's still 8:30 because it's not working anymore. That's not brilliant.
Oh, that's very poor. Okay, well, so we'll see what you think about the Fold 6 and the Galaxy Watch Ultra. I'm unmoved by both of those things. So the only really interesting thing to me that they showed off was the Galaxy Ring.
Yeah. And
this notion of sharing the duties between the watch and the ring to extend the battery life of both. That's cool. I like that.
Yeah, I'll be testing that as well, so we'll see how that transpires in real life.
But does anyone need a smart ring? Because it hasn't got an FC, has it?
No. I don't know if anyone does. I think you do if you don't want a watch. If you don't like wearing watches, and there are people out there who don't like wearing watches, but you want health tracking of some kind, and if you don't want to wear a Whoop because it's too big and annoying, then it does make sense. And the Ultra Human, which I'm still testing, is a very interesting and useful device from that perspective. It's not perfect by any stretch, which is why, again, the Galaxy Ring is so interesting. You know, what can a much bigger brand do when they've got even bigger resources and a bigger ecosystem? You know, Ultra Human has the Ring and a couple of other little things, but they don't have a smartphone. They don't have a tablet. It'd be, like you say, it'd be interesting to see what impact that has on the battery life, and also this gesture thing where you can. I've not seen this in action yet, but you can apparently use the hand that you've got the Ring on to do some special gestures on your Galaxy phone with the Ring, like taking photos.
What is that ring you've got currently?
So that's the Ultra Human Air.
That's the Ultra Human. So are you going to do some sort of comparison between that and the Galaxy
Possibly.
Ring?
I think so. Yeah, that's probably the way it's gonna head. I think.
Have you spoken to Oura? See if they'll send you one of theirs as well. That'd be a good showdown.
Yeah, we have spoken to them. I might keep it simple though. I might just keep it simple to these two. I think just because I've been wearing this for so long, so I've kind of got quite a rounded opinion of it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that anyone needs a smart ring, do they? Actually, how long have you been wearing your Whoop for?
Since the start of the year. No, since the start of the year.
Only this year. How are you finding... How does it sit on your skin? Because I've seen a lot of people complain that it gets quite irritating.
Really does, yeah. Particularly in this weather. So in hot weather, it's been really annoying. I've had to move it back a little bit just because I'm getting that horrible kind of red rash that you get. I get it sometimes on the watch, but it's been worse with the Whoop. To the point where I think before I had this strap, this what do they call it, the Sport Flex, whatever it's called. I stopped wearing it for about a month because it was so annoying, and it's starting to get annoying again now.
I've heard that. So perhaps if it gives you a similar level of insight on something that's obviously smaller and less irritating, perhaps I can see, a justification for a smart ring.
I think so, but that said, the Whoop, for all its irritations, does have the best data and the best way of presenting that data. I think so. It's quite a hard thing to beat with a watch, with a ring. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. See what we think.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else interesting that's happened recently. I mean, this is not news, but it just tickled me. Is the Nokia 3210 reboot? This is like several months old, but the reason I'm bringing it up, I'll get on to why I'm bringing it up. So obviously everyone remembers their 3210 that they had. Well, if you're of a certain age, at least.
Absolutely.
HMD have rebooted it. It's like 75 quid, no apps. It's got a 2 megapixel camera. It's got a snake on it. And,
nice.
3-year battery life, probably. But they're selling it under, they've coined a new term, JOMO, which is the joy of missing out.
Lovely. I love
I
that.
quite like that concept.
I do.
That's quite fun.
I think it's quite a tempting thing actually in this world, even just to have one to, if you fancy a digital detox, maybe for like a month or something, just switch to that, and you've got nothing but Snake to keep you busy, which it used to be. I remember those times. I'm sure you do as well. It's a much simpler time, wasn't it?
Yeah. So HMD, who people may or may not be aware, are essentially what Nokia used to be after Microsoft ruined them. They've also released a new phone. I forget what it's called. They've released a new phone which is very Lumia-y. It's got serious Lumia vibes. And let's go to the HMD website. Hold on, HMD. What's it called? Yeah, I didn't make any notes on this because I didn't think it was particularly interesting. HMD Skyline. So yeah, it comes in wacky colours, but yeah, the front of it looks very, very Lumia-y, which appeals to me. I'm not going to get one, obviously, but I've been using my S24 Ultra with a new launcher. It's not a new launcher. It's a new to me, but I've been using Square Home. Are you familiar with Square Home?
No.
Makes your makes your Windows phone look like. Sorry, makes your Galaxy phone, well, it makes your Android phone look like Windows. So it's got all the live tiles. So rather than having notifications popping up, your notifications just appear on the app icon, which is massive. And I'm massively enjoying using my S24 Ultra more than I was with One UI. So,
Interesting.
Yeah. There's another one called Launcher 10, which is less customizable but is easy. So the thing about Square Home is that you can make a pretty authentic Windows phone experience. It's very smooth, it's very customizable, it's very nice, but it is a bit of a pain in the ass to set it up. There's also Launcher 10, which does a similar thing, but it's a bit less involved. But yeah, if you used to use Windows Phone and you missed those days and you weren't aware, and you've got an Android phone, yeah, stick Square Home or Launcher 10 on it. I've been having a lot of fun with that.
Give that a go, definitely. Anything else? Apple betas, public betas are available now. Are you getting involved?
I might do because I've got. So I've got my main machine, which is the M2 Pro Mac Mini, and I've got my main phone, my main portable device, which is my iPhone. But then I've also got my M1 MacBook Air, and I've got the iPad now. So I might stick the betas on those, just to give them a go.
Yeah. Why not?
But I'm not in any hurry, really. I'm at that age where I'm quite happy to wait for other people to fix them, because I used to be right up there reporting the bugs and opening tickets and all that sort. I can't be bothered anymore, so I'm quite happy to just wait until it's ready and then.
It's a lot of effort, isn't it? Yeah, I completely agree.
I think the most exciting thing I've heard about Apple recently is this new home accessory device that people have found referenced in the code. So it appears to be a new device that contains an A18, so it would be able to do the fancy new AI stuff that they showed off at WWDC. Are we finally going to get a HomePod with a display?
Possibly.
Which I've been moaning about for a while. And if we do, what's it going to look like? Is it going to be the existing HomePod, but with that sort of colourful, cloudy thing on the top replaced with a useful display? That'd be a step forward, but also not very useful because it's on the top. Or are we going to see a new one, a new sort of smart speaker category from Apple, like your Echo Shows or your Nest Hub Max, that sort of thing, that would be my preference? Or are they going to go somewhere in between and release something that looks a bit like a classic iMac? Which one was it? The iMac G3?
Yeah.
Was it the G3 or G4? The one that had like a little
G3, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, the base and then like an arm with the. I'd love to see that, just as a little nod to the past, a little throwback there. That would be lovely. Where the base is the speaker and then the display is on an arm. A bit like actually the new, the most recent Echo Show 10, I think. Yeah. You've seen that where the base is the speaker and then it's got a display that sort of swivels around on the top. Or it might be a red herring. It might be nothing at all. But yeah, if it is a HomePod with a display, I'll be really happy about that.
I think with Apple Intelligence, though, they've got it makes sense to have something like that, doesn't it? Even if they just do the kind of Pixel tablet thing and just have your iPad being connectable to some sort of HomePod thing with a magnet on it. I don't really mind how they do it. I'd just like them to do it. But again, Siri has to be much, much better than it is, which hopefully it will be with Apple Intelligence. But that is quite exciting. Yeah, that's an exciting thing.
They've been taking steps towards it with things like Nightstand.
That's true.
This notion of a simplified touchscreen experience.
That is very true.
I will say. So yeah, I'm quite excited. I'm more excited about that than I am Vision Pro. Anyway,
go and try it out. Go and give it a go. Now it's here for demo. See what you think. Right, because we are rapidly reaching the end of the hour, Rob. Is it worth just very quickly saying what we've bought for Amazon Prime? It's not very exciting at this end, to be honest.
Yeah, go on. It's just memory cards for you, I imagine.
Not memory cards, no, just a pen drive.
All right.
That was it. For a very specific reason, which I'll explain. Again, it links to this new stuff that we're doing. But that was it. I didn't forget it was Prime Day because we were doing some content on it. But I did forget to check it out myself until very late on the way back from Milan, and got a bit bored. It happens every year. I start looking at memory cards and either buy them or don't buy them. And then I start looking at coffee machines. And realise that I don't need another coffee machine because I've got 73 of them. So and then I give up. I get bored. So, what about yourself?
Oh, yeah, I suppose. I mean, in your line of work, I guess Prime Day is less exciting because you get all the latest stuff sent to you for free anyway. So
a lot of it comes through. Yeah, I mean, looking for a lot of things to come through, but I mean, that's not everything, obviously, and it's nice to still have a look through. But I just didn't get excited this year. I don't think I need anything. That's the key thing.
Yeah, no, I got off quite lightly. So I got a couple of the new Belkin Qi 2 wireless chargers. So, nice. I've got the old wireless charging tree from Belkin. This does essentially the same thing, but it's just a bit newer, and I'll repurpose the other one somewhere else. So I'm a big fan of that. And I got one of the flat ones as well, which I'll have on my desk.
Nice.
Other than that, I think last time we spoke, did we talk about the new Insta360 products?
We did.
And how I think they're great, but I can't give them any money because they've been naughty. So I don't know if you remember, like when the iPhone 15 came out, and the fact that it's got USB-C, I made a portable SSD to record video direct to that. I modified a Samsung T5 with a magnet on the back. Anyway, this is not new. It's been out for a while, but it's from a company called ShiftCam. Have you seen the ShiftCam MagSafe camera grip?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
So it's like a battery pack that attaches to your iPhone via MagSafe, and it's got a physical shutter button. But then on top of that, you can then add more MagSafe things. So they do a bunch of accessories themselves, like a key light and a selfie stick and all sorts of cool stuff that you can attach. But it's normal MagSafe. So you've got your phone, you've got this camera case that attaches via MagSafe, and then you can attach more MagSafe stuff to that. So I'm going to make some kind of mobile video rig and take that on my holiday to the Peak District rather than buying any new gadgets. Although I looked at the drones and I looked at various action cams and stuff. I thought, no, let's
keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Use what we've got. So yeah, I've got a couple of MagSafe Qi 2 chargers coming and a ShiftCam camera grip, because I don't know, there's just something about having a physical shutter button that is still pleasing. So do you remember the Lumia 1020?
Vaguely, yep.
So that had a camera attachment, and actually more recently the Xiaomi 14 Ultra had a photography kit.
It did, that's right.
Which again gives you a physical shutter button. I like it. I like having a physical shutter button.
I do as well. That's why I like the Xperia phones.
Oh, so have you still got that? Or has that gone back?
It's going back soon, but it's a good phone. The Xperia, what is it, 1 Mark 6, whatever it's called. Great phone. Takes great photos. Review is live on YouTube as well now. But I don't know if I'd buy one myself though. They're still expensive and they're a bit niche. I think I'd miss the normality of normal phones, if that makes sense. But I love the fact Sony make them. I don't want them to ever stop making these wacky phones with things that people don't need.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess there's just time for the one silly thing then.
Yeah, you pick it. You've listed quite a few things here.
So and I've bought this. So we've mentioned it previously. I love things that look like other things. It's the Tiny Pod. So we have mentioned this before, but it's now available to order. And the Tiny Pod is a thing that allows you to repurpose an old Apple Watch, and it makes it into a little tiny iPod with a click wheel. And so, yeah, that's right up my street. That was a no-brainer, that one.
Very cool.
So that is due to arrive in September. But I don't know whether it was a good idea because, well, I mean, I've got a drawer full of old Apple Watches that I can use with it, so that's good. But there's all the news of the Apple Watch 10 where the dimensions are all going to be different. Not that I would put a brand new watch in this. This is for, repurposing an old Apple Watch, so it'll be good for the time being. But apparently the new Apple Watch is going to be enormous, isn't it? Like up to a 2-inch display, which is even bigger than the Watch Ultra's 1.93,
and possibly not compatible with previous the current generation straps. Yeah,
so I'll put a link to the Tiny Pod, the Tiny Pod, if anyone wants to spend.
It looks very cool. This thing. It's really. How much is it?
So, including shipping, it's 80 quid.
That's nothing, is it?
So
that's fine.
I'd give that a go. So when we previously talked about this, there's another device that's on the way which makes your Apple Watch look like a Rabbit R1. That's called the Cake. That's not available for order, but when it is, I'll probably get one of those as well because
why not?
It's just fun. Cool. It's just fun.
Yeah. Things that look like other things.
Things that look like other things. That's where it's at.
Why would you not want that? Right. Okay, Rob, I think we're done. We've covered all manner of weird and wonderful subjects, haven't we? Anyone who's new to this podcast must just think, what niche are they trying to hit here? Cars, tech. At least we didn't reference any random 80s kids' TV shows this time. That normally happens.
That's true.
Or did we? Maybe we did. Anyway, I'll catch you in 2 weeks.
All right. See you then.
Cheers.